Hello, everyone. I hope you all find yourselves well today. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Lily, and I have completed the soft fabric cover journal, and I am here to give you a flip through of it. And I hope you can see all of it there. I'm so excited. It turned out just beautiful, exactly how I had kind of envisioned it. I really didn't have a plan, but I did have an idea of the direction I wanted it to go in, and I think it turned out absolutely amazing. And just so you know, this journal will be available in my Etsy shop, and all of the descriptions and details, the dimensions, the number of pages, and the link to my Etsy shop will be down below in the description area, along with other bits of information and links to the other videos that show you from beginning to this point as to, little steps along the way as to how I put it all together. I'm so excited. So let's just go through it. Let's make this as brief as possible because, I tend to get carried away and get sidetracked, but I really do want to point out some of the nice features about this journal. Maybe not too detailed because I do have the other videos that somewhat point out a lot of the little details, but I'll do my best. So this is the front cover. I'm going to open it just so you could see, and I know you've seen, if you've watched my other videos, I know you've seen the cover and how it kind of all came together. There's fabric collage, there's also snippet roll bits and trims, there's hand stitching, so you could see some of the hand stitching features. There's little papers of my own ephemera. There's rosette trim, and then little seed beads here, up here. Oh, I forgot to mention, this journal is called Corazon, and it's going to be pretty obvious as we flip through the pages. There is a little heart beating right here, and it does say Corazon, and if you don't know what Corazon is, Corazon translates to heart. So, yay! Heart. Is that a good heart? There you go. And then I also added this charm, and I talk about how long I've had these charms and when I made them and everything on previous videos. But I love these little charms here, and I thought it would be perfect dangling from a bulb pin right there. So you can take a look. It turned out just amazing, just how I wanted it. It is a single signature journal, just one. It is hand stitched, so you've got some pretty heavy duty twine over here. And then what's really nice about this is you can kind of see all the yummy goodness that is kind of hanging over the journal, and I just love journals like that. And it is somewhat of an alligator mouth, but once you wrap it with this little strip that I kind of stitched together, it's just gorgeous, and it feels so good in your hands, and I just love it. Look at that. And I did have to stop myself from overfilling, but I wanted to share some of the ephemera that I have made, and also some newer ephemera. I think there's a couple of new pieces in here. Here is the inside cover. Look at that. It has that little chippy paint look that I just truly love. And then some little fabric collaging and stamping here with some slow stitching. Then here's the first page here, and it is just a little pocket that I made, and then a little tag there with some sari silk at the top. A lot of the pages are scrapbook pages that I have somewhat altered, either coffee dyed or avocado dyed, and I also have avocado dyed, coffee dyed pages, and also some vintage pages in here, and you'll see those as we go through the book or through the journal. There is slight jelly printing and stenciling. Here is this pocket, and I've talked about this pocket in the previous videos. I love how this turned out, and it's just wire ribbon at a diagonal and then stitched. There's a little stitching there, and I just cut the excess. I did take the wire out though, but it is perfect, and it has this little peekaboo corner over here. I altered a Project Life. I believe this is a Project Life card, and I just altered it, stamped it, and then added a cluster of some flowers from my stash. A lot of things from my stash, and I've said it many times, it's use it or lose it, and I'm going to use as many things as I possibly can. Here's a little bit of jelly printing, just like second and third generation jelly printing. I wanted something very light, but grungy and beautiful at the same time. Here's some trim that I kind of stitched here, gathered and stitched. Jelly printing, coffee dyed paper. This is some vintage school paper that I coffee dyed and then splattered with some blue ink. Avocado dyed ledger paper, a little cluster for my stash. Avocado dyed paper that has been jelly printed, and here is a little flower with a little glitter heart in the center. Here's a tuck spot with some ruffle trim, and then a book page from one of my favorite floral books. Fits perfectly in there. Some more jelly print paper on avocado dyed paper. And then I've added this super grungy envelope, altered envelope, and it has been coffee dyed. Look at this. Look at, isn't that? I just love this grunginess right here. It has a little bit of wear, but I just love how it turned out. I've also added some white paint marks and then also some gold Prima Marketing wax. I believe it's called Vintage Gold. And here's the front cover or the front of the envelope, which I collaged. I have a video on how I do this. So love how that turned out. No, I'm not going to take the envelope out. There's nothing in it, but I just love this in itself. I just love the way that looks there. Here is a repurposed junk mail envelope that I just inserted right in the center. Again, this one's been avocado dyed, and then those white paint marks. I call it the weathered look, and then just a little collage. I DIY'd that window because this envelope didn't have that window. And then I inserted some vintage note paper that I picked up at a thrift store. Just tucked it in there. Here's some stenciling. And then here is one of my DIY envelopes from Book Page. And then I slipped in one of these really cool Project Life cards. And I want to say this is from Heidi Swapp's edition. I've had this for a while. So like I said, I did add some of my, some newer items, ephemera that I didn't make, but I'm happy to share my stash with you. And here is a card front or a journaling card. It is on, these are printed on watercolor paper, and I believe the creator is Susie Plantamura. I believe that's her name, and she does a lot of design for Simon Says Stamps. So I love her watercolor cards. So I put that in there so that you can have fun and play with that with watercolors or markers or crayons or whatever it is that you want to use. Some more jelly printing paper. Here's some stenciling, some little lovebirds. Here's a side pocket or a side tuck that has been stitched, and there is a lot of stitching throughout and stenciling as well. Here's one of my own ephemera pieces, a little take on a stamp collector's wallet. I used the Tim Holtz die and then just added little bits and pieces of ephemera in there, and this really cool card. And a little tag. So that's fun. Did some collage work. I do have a video on how I make this. So go through my video list and you'll see these right there. This little stamp collector's wallet. Look at this beautiful jelly printed page. I love this. Look at that. It's like a metallic teal color, and it's just beautiful. Can you see how that shines? And then I added this tag. I thought it coordinated really well with this page, and I used one of these large We Are Memory Keepers eyelets, and then added some sari silk at the top, and you could swing it around if you like. I did reinforce it with a little bit of washi tape just to make sure it doesn't rip through, but oh my gosh, it looks beautiful there. Avocado dyed paper with a little bit of stenciling, and here is another side tuck that I embellished with some of my scrapbook paper and then a little bit of washi tape, and then you'll see the stitching there. DIY or my own ephemera card made from repurposing Book Page. Backed it with coffee dyed paper, added a little tab with some Tim Holtz words, and Tim Holtz words here over the fabric stitched heart. So it's perfect. A little corazon for you. Here is a fabric flip. It is double layered, and this is repurposed. I want to say this was an old tablecloth, not mine, but somebody's. I picked it up at a thrift store. I think my sister and I did. And then added some of that coordinating fabric that I used throughout the journal, and then a little cluster with a little rosette there. Here's some more jelly printing, some stamping. This is, I believe this is old vintage dot matrix paper. I just took off the little perforated strip. And then did some stenciling, some jelly printing. Here is the center page. And then I stitched in some fabric trim with some gold machine stitching there in a zigzag. Here is an altered index card. So it kind of tucks away. It's not really a tuck spot, but you know what? It holds it nicely there. And then this is the middle of the page. And you can see I added a nice little heart charm again, carrying that Corazon theme throughout. And you can see that it is a beautiful bronze heart with some little like diamond, faux diamond sparkling gems in the center. So I love how that turned out. So that is dangling. It'll dangle down at the bottom. And then here's the other side with that fabric trim. All I did is I folded it over and then machine stitched it and added this beautiful flower with this little button right in the center. And again, it holds a little card there. This is my favorite. These are repurposed junk mail envelopes. I also have a video as to how I make these. And I just love how these turned out. In the video, I really don't embellish the envelopes too much. I created them, or yeah, I made them and then collaged them and set them aside and embellish depending on the journal that I'm using. And so I added, again, a little cluster of flowers, bits and pieces of ephemera from things that I've stamped. And I have a video on how I just stamp on just scrap pieces of coffee dyed paper or just any scrap paper. And so there is that. I love how that turned out. And up here as well. And then there's collage. And you can see some of that gold wax on there that I kind of smudged throughout the journal. And then I added another sheet of that beautiful note paper. And it has a beautiful rose design on there. So I love how these envelopes turned out. And so then I just have this twine, just wrap it around. And then just give it a little spin around that brad right there and clip it with this Tim Holtz clip. I've also added a little dangle to it with a bowl pin and this beautiful little charm. I love it. Like, wouldn't that look nice on a ring? I think so. It's so beautiful. And it has this pink hue. So I just love the way it dangles there. Here's a little journaling card. Here we go. Vintage music paper. I've reinforced it here with some washi tape right down the center. And I believe this is Tim Holtz washi tape. Here's another side pocket with one of my altered index cards. And then a little cluster that I glued on over some, oh my gosh, you guys, I lose it when it comes to this ruffle trim. I have a hard time remembering that. And I just love this page right here with all of these beautiful little jelly print markings on it. This neon green here is just gorgeous. I love this page so much. And here we go. Here is another side tuck. And then I've added some journaling cards here from my stash. Thought I would share those with you. I think these are beautiful. And then another altered index card for journaling. There is so much journaling space in here for writing, for, you know, adding photographs, recipes, however you want to use this, it'll be yours. And then added this little glitter tag from my stash to that vintage paper clip. And then here is a little booklet that I made from altering an index card. Did some collage work. I have a video on how I make these little photo slides, or this little ephemera piece inspired by a photo slide. And then just added a few little papers in there for journaling from packaging. So this was super fun to make. Again, go through my videos. Go to my videos page and you can see all the different videos that I have where I show you a lot of the ephemera pieces that I make. Here's the second half of the envelope. What's fun about this envelope, there's a window here and it's collaged. What's fun here, it has the first half had a side pocket, but this one has a top loading pocket. And I've added one of these timekeeping sheets. Isn't that fun? I love these so much. And then I've also added a little charm I reinforced it with an eyelet and then added this gold heart charm there. And then remember these, we made these, the jelly printed hearts, and I just glued those on there, and has a little stamping and some Heidi Swap gold shine. And I just love this long tag here. These are perfect for the top loading envelopes. I always kind of struggle with the top loading tags because they do have to be somewhat long because of the size of the envelope. And I've made a few, but I really think I prefer using these timekeeping sheets. I think they're just beautiful. And I like the way it kind of extends beyond the, beyond the journal. Doesn't that look cute? Okay. Here's another envelope. This one's avocado dyed. And then that is a transfer. There's stenciling and stamping and a little collage with some trim. Again, I do have a video on how I make these. And then I'm not going to pull it apart. The envelope is empty, but I thought it just looked beautiful there. And then here is an altered index card that I have stamped. Side tuck pocket with another altered index card that was avocado dyed and has a little bit of stamping, and a couple of journaling cards from my stash. Some more ruffle trim that has been stitched with some gold thread, and then a little cluster with some heart-themed trim there. I thought that looked perfect there. I love how grungy these coffee dyed pages look, just opposed against, something so sweet and delicate like this lace here. Looks great. Some more little ruffle trim with some rosette trim. Little tag from my stash. Oh, this is fun. This is a replica of some vintage postcards from this French photographer, and this is one of his most famous pictures from, I believe it was 1950. So share that from my stash. And then here's something fun. I created a side tuck or a corner tuck from some Tim Holtz ephemera, and then added some of his little words there. And that reads, she could believe, and that shine and sparkle, and I dream of stars and glitter. I thought I would add that there. But this is fun. This is a card from my stash, and it is a vintage Holly Hobby greeting card. So I thought it would be perfect. Isn't she just so cute? Who remembers Holly Hobby? Raise your hand. So I want to share that with you. I thought it would be perfect here. Add a little bit of vintage pieces, some authentic vintage pieces, and then this heart charm or heart paper clip that is also part of my stash. And I just thought it looked so cute in here. Look at that. Beautiful. Again, another wired ribbon tuck with a little peekaboo corner over here with an altered journaling card. Oh, and this was a fun pocket. This is a pocket that is made from, excuse me, from packaging paper. Losing my voice. From packaging paper. I do have a video on how I make these. They're super easy. No measuring, no scissors. It's kind of freestyle pocket making from packaging. And then I added one of the altered guest checks. And just added that giant Tim Holtz butterfly there. And I collaged with some napkin and then added some more collage pieces there. And then some Tim Holtz words, and then sprinkled some Heidi Swap gold shine on it. So that will live in this pocket. And then it's also a tuck. So it can go behind it or it can go in the pocket. I collaged over the pocket here and then added with my black ink pen just around it. And then also added this little canvas heart, and this is from Heidi Swap. And then the jelly printed hearts that we made. And then this little thing that I just found, it was on my desk, so I just glued it down. I like the color. And this is the last page, you guys. Look at this. It is a library pocket that I made from a book page. Did some collaging here, added again one of these little flowers, with a metal button, did some stamping, and then stitched it. It is completely glued down, but you can use this as a pocket right here. And I'm really glad that I had a few of these cards so that I could sprinkle them throughout the journal and make it look somewhat cohesive. And here is a vintage bridge card. And I love how it has the birds in there, because there are some birds throughout the journal as well. And here's some right here. So this is the back page, again, collaged with some fabric. Look at this beautiful trim right here that I've machine stitched and then added this nice little flower with the filigree backing on that bulb pin. Isn't that sweet? And then you can see some of the inside of the stitching, the hand stitching, and even the machine stitching. I just love how that looks. So there you go. Here's the back. Here's the front. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun working on this. And I made the cover it took me about a week to make it. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun to create this journal. And so I can't wait to work on more future journals that have this soft cover. Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you being here. If you have any questions, please leave them down below as to anything that you saw in this journal. Again, my link to my Etsy shop is also in the description area. And if you're watching this video and you are not subscribed, please subscribe. And I promise to share with you everything I possibly can that will inspire you so that you can create as well. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all of you that are supporting my channel. I appreciate you so much. You guys take care, and I will see you later. Bye!